Okay, so in this video we are looking at conflicting macroeconomic policies, and the subtopic is Keynesian theory v monetarist theory. So let's start with some definitions. So we've got Keynesian first, which is an economic theory of total spending in the economy and its effects on output and inflation. Keynesian economics was developed by John Maynard Keynes during the 1930s in an attempt to understand the Great Depression. Keynes advocated increased government spending and lower taxes to stimulate demand and pull the global economy out of a depression. Right, so next is monetarism, which is an economic theory that focuses on the macroeconomic effects of the supply of money and central banking. It was formulated by Milton Friedman and argues that excessive expansion of the money supply is inherently inflation, and that monetary authorities should focus solely on maintaining price stability. So now we're going to go on to some brief history.
Okay, so starting off with some Keynesian history. So Keynes considered his theories in the 1930s to attempt to find a solution to the Great Depression. His theories were looked on in a good fashion by the UK government. Significant supply-side shocks in the 1970s, for example the oil prices and the labour market disruption, could be fully reconciled by application of Keynesian theory. And there's some monetarism. Consequently, monetarism, or free market economics, principally led by Milton Friedman, began to gain in popularity. He argued that the control of money supply was crucial in controlling inflation, and that minimal government intervention that encouraged more free market supply flexibility was important.
Okay, now, so we're going to go on to the main topic, which is the differences. So, firstly, in a recession or a liquidity trap, government intervention can stimulate aggregate demand and real output through government borrowing. Therefore, Keynesians advocate expansionary fiscal policy in a recession, whereas monetarists believe that markets are stable and work efficiently with minimal government intervention, and the large government borrowing tends to distort national equilibrium, and this will lead on to something called the crowding out effect, where excessive government spending essentially takes away money that private firms can borrow, so they can't invest. So that's an argument in favour of the monetarists. Secondly, we've got Keynesians tend to adopt the idea of save in the good times and spend in the bad times. However, in the good times we tend to reward ourselves and invest in capital like healthcare and education. However, doing this in a recession that would be much better, as it would give consumers confidence to buy goods and services and essentially pull us out of a recession.
Another difference is that Keynesians believe that there is no crowding out. However, monetarists believe that the process of doing this will stop the flow of money in an economy. The large government borrowing will restrict the money supply for enterprise, so that the opportunity for private growth is hindered. The way the monetarists would reduce the risk of going into a thrift is by increasing the supply of money, i.e. by quantitative easing. Generally, Keynesians are more likely to stress the importance of reducing unemployment than inflation, whereas monetarists believe that it's more important to keep inflation low than control employment. Keynesians believe that the long-run aggregate supply curve can be horizontal, whereas the monetarists believe that the LRAS supply is very steep in nature.
So Keynesians tend to think that the long-run aggregate supply curve can be horizontal because there is spare capacity in the economy, and you can therefore employ workers at the same wages, so therefore prices aren't increasing, which is in essence inflation, hence why it can be horizontal. And then when it gets to maximum output, the more you try and cause economic growth, just the higher the prices get, so hence why it's vertical at that point. So thank you very much for watching our video. Goodbye.